So this is just one last little question on surface area of a prism. It's quite a tricky question that we need to work on. And it kind of brings together everything we did last lesson. So the problem with this one here is that you've got a few different things that you need to work out. You're going to need to work out the area of this front part here, which is like the yellow part here. You've obviously got the area of the bottom as well. You've got the area of this right-hand side. Now, the thing that people don't realise is that the area of the top is just a rectangle that is split into two parts. Now, let me try and show you this. This is the hardest part, I'd say. The area of this rectangle here is this, but it's also covered by this part here. Okay, that's the area of that rectangle. All right, the area of the rectangle is that part there. And then the problem is you're going to need the diameter of this part here as well. The diameter of this part here. So the yellow has got the front and back for the yellow. You've got the left and right side for the blue. You've got the bottom as well. Then you've got that pink bit, which is just a rectangle. If you were to squash down like that, it's just going to be a rectangle for that pink part. And then you've got the circumference of this. Now, just understanding and seeing where all of these are is the tricky part. Okay? So let's have a look at some of these then. You can write it down if you want. It is a tricky one. It is a tricky one. Yeah, I probably would suggest you writing it down. But it is a tricky one. I'm just going to go through it because it's a real tricky one. And then, yeah, we'll have a go in a second. So I'm going to do the front yellow first. So the yellow front and back. Now, this is a rectangle. And it's going to be 8.7 times by... Oh, it's actually 8.7 up, which is really nice, actually. Oh, this is really nice. Because it's a cube on the bottom, we know... So let's just write this down. Because it's a cube on the bottom, we know all 6 sides are the same. So we've got this yellow side, this blue side, we've got the bottom and that pink top part there are all the same. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, so the only thing we're going to need to work out is the one side, or this front one, the yellow one, and then we can times that by 6 because that includes that pink top part if I was to squash that down. But then the only thing we need extra is that green circumference, which is the tricky part. Okay, so let's work out that yellow face first. So this is going to be equal to 8.7 times by 8.7. So let's just do that. It's 8.7 times by 8.7, which is equal to 75.69. Now, I've got 6 of these sides here, so I need to times that there by 6. So times by 6 is equal to 454.14. Now, remember the units on this are centimetres cubed. So basically what we've just done here, this here is the surface area of the cube, which is equal to 454.14 centimeters squared. Now, the thing that is missing in this one here is the green part, which is around that side there. Okay, so the green part, which is around the green part, which is around the so this part here is what's missing. Now we know, if I was to kind of unravel that, let's just unravel it here. We know that the height of this is going to be equal to that 4.9. And when we did the cylinders, we knew that the width of that rectangle is equal to the circumference of it. So this is equal to the circumference, which is equal to pi times d. And d is equal to 70.2, so it's going to be pi times by 2.7 for that width there. Okay, so the curved part of the cylinder is equal to, now this, I know this is hard, okay, the height, which is equal to 4.9, times by the circumference, which is going to be pi times by 2.7. This one is really tricky. So 4.9 times by pi times by 2.7 is equal to 41.56. So I'm going to need to, so this here is the surface area of the cube. This here is the surface area of the surface area of that curved part of the curved part of the cylinder. And we're going to need to be, what I've done is, imagine that pink part has been squashed down. So I need to add these two together. So I'll do that here just to finish off this one. 454.14 plus 41.56. Now I do need that three significant figures. I'll do that in a second. So 454.14 plus 41.56 is equal to 495.7. So to three significant figures, I'm going to put my line after the first significant figure, 1, 2, 3. That's going to round up, and that's going to be equal to 496. 3 marks, but that is towards the end of the paper, okay? It is tricky, that one. It is really tricky. So, let's just check that. What a spot. What a spot. There's me trying to rush through it. I knew I'd made a mistake, and I was trying to figure out where it was. Brilliant spot. Well done. So I have done pi times by d, and I've gone against my own tips, haven't I? I always say to write down what the radius and the diameter are. My radius in this case is 7.2, which means that my diameter here, 7.2 times by 2 is equal to 5.4. What a silly Billy. Thank you for that. So when I'm doing the curved cylinder part, it's going to be 4.9 times by pi times by 5.4. I'm going to have to change this ever so slightly. Let's get this back up. So this part here is wrong. Let's just work this part out first. So 4.9 times by shift pi times by 5.4, which is actually equal to, the curved part of this is equal to 83.1 centimeters squared. Brilliant. I'm so happy you spotted that. And then I need to add these two together, don't I? So that's going to be 454.14 plus 83.1. So 454.14 plus 83.1 is equal to 537.24. So the three significant figures, that is 537 centimeters squared. Silly Billy, Mr. Adams. Thank you for spotting that. Brilliant, there we go. Okay, if you're catching up with this at home, these are the questions I want you to have a go at. So have a go at these questions. Pause now and have a go at those if you're catching up. And if you're catching up from home, there are the answers for those.